everybody, and welcome back to another exciting session of Storms over Cerenar. Thank you for waiting through our little bit delayed introduction here. We had some technical difficulties. It should be smooth sailing from here on out. Knock on wood, cross our fingers, and hope to die, whatever. In Storms over Cerenar, Epic Boon has brought together more than 50 years of role-playing experience to create an epic tale of ancient secrets, sleeping gods, and spanning conflicts in a high-level D&D campaign. My name is Ro, and I have the pleasure of being your dungeon master for tonight. And with me, as always, are these 5 wonderful ding-dongs. Hi, ding-dongs. Good to have you here.
Hello, ding-dongs.
Hello, ding-dongs.
Hello.
Well, I'm not asking you to say that anymore, but sure, that's fine. And before these wonderful ding-dongs get a chance to introduce themselves and their characters, I want to remind all of you that Storms over Cerenar is a rowdy and sometimes dark role-playing campaign for adults. Sometimes we tackle some hard and uncomfortable subjects in as respectful and empathetic way as possible. So needless to say, audience discretion is advised. Since last session, our players have been tasked to introduce themselves and answer a question. And this week's questions will be, what would your character be doing if they would not be an adventurer? So Alex, take it away.
Hello, I'm Alex. I play Oust, the Hexblade Warlock. The question, as you said, was what would your character be doing if they were not an adventurer? I mean, he was formerly an archaeologist. He probably still would be. He'd probably be writing very, very dry archaeological papers about, sort of the various kind of intricacies of Kalari pottery and that kind of thing. He'd be probably deeply, deeply bored of that. Until the point where he spoke out too much against the Chthonian Imperium, and then he'd probably be sort of very quietly shipped off somewhere or killed, which is nice. But yeah.
Very well, thank you. Evan, go ahead.
Hello, I'm Evan, player of Arsifice. If Arsifice wasn't an adventurer, honestly, Arsifice would probably never not be an adventurer. It's kind of his dream job, going around solving people's problems, earning money, coincidentally every once in a while. It's what he loves to do. So if he was maybe forced to retire from that, probably a craftsman of some kind or an advisor, something that wouldn't be a lot of work but would, foot the bill every once in a while.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Jonas, go ahead.
Thanks. Well, I'm Jonas, and I have the privilege and honor of playing Björn, the barbarian from the north. And if Björn wasn't an adventurer, he'd probably be either still judging the Northmen traveling around and being the kind of their executioner, or he would simply be a reaver plundering the shores of the Chthonian Empire, I think.
What a twist! What a twist! Thank you very much, Jonas. Leon, go ahead.
Right, I'm Leon. I'm playing Theus, the bard. Currently knocked out. Hopefully awake this session again. And if Theus wasn't an adventurer and traveling around with Bjorn, I would say he would run an orphanage.
Oh, interesting. And last but not least, Tanner. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm Tanner from the of Canada, Frozen Wastelands. I am fellow producer at Epic Boon Productions, and I play Nongol, the wizard school of theurgy with a splash of sorcerer in him. And what would Nongol be doing if he wasn't adventuring? Probably studying spells. Just locked up in the tower, no one bothering me. That's about it.
Just theoretical arcana. That sounds very exciting. Well, that is all very good. Thank you. Interesting. And that tells us a lot about what kind of people your characters are. And with that said, I know, Alex, that you have prepared a recap from a last session. So I will put on the Star Trek music, and
Thank you
we'll
very
be
much.
ready to go. Go ahead.
Obchore's log, 23rd of Aurora, 174 AR. Staunch flow, you mucky pit of deviance. Despite the little I can recall of my last visit, I'm sure that this time my objectives are a little different. Unfortunately, I can't imagine I'm going to be flat on my back for the same reasons as last time. But who knows? Anyway, we do find ourselves here, delivered by a rather nifty upgrade to a levitator by Mr. Nongle's gnomish kin in the city to follow up on these strange whispers of a dark ritual soon to take place. We do also find ourselves without our guide, however, Mr. Sophiz. However, never fear, for he has furnished us with the means to find more of his kind, with similar expertise across the continent. Very much like his kind, in fact. Yesterday we arrived at the detective agency that he'd provided us, and met one Sophiz. I can only imagine that this gentleman, of a much similar demeanour and temperament as Jar, is related to him, perhaps from the same litter? Is that how Tapaxi work? I don't know. I must ask at some point. But anyway, I digress. Has given us the lay of the land around town, and today we venture out in search of further leads. We can also only hope today that we're rejoined by our comrade Fierce, whom for the past few days has been catatonic, following his untimely transformation into a bandage-wearing spectre of death that also happens to be the heir of a vicious cult of assassins, whom, I hasten to add, are hell-bent on trying to kill me, which I must also inquire about. Seems to have struck some kind of bargain with these faceless, or whatever they're called. They don't talk all that much, aside from the constant referring to me as Maledictus, which doesn't annoy me at all, but that's fine. And I'm abundantly aware of it. But the terms of the bargain do appear to be that we are safe for another week or so, unless, until Fierce, if that is indeed his name, gives himself over to them, at which point, supposedly, they'll leave us be. I've been more convinced by cheap strumpets and marketplace elixir peddlers, but there we are. I'm not entirely full of faith in that regard. But we'll persevere onwards and all that stuff. Axia and the rest of the cohort are off helping, crushing the slaver industry, and Rafajar, hopefully, possibly, maybe, soon. So good luck to them, I guess, and good luck to us.
Beautiful. And with that, we return to a situation that Oust was not a part of last session. It is, in fact, Nongle and Bjorn we return to. Nongle, will you briefly just tell us what situation we left you in? Nongle? You are on push to talk, man, friend. Oh, all right. We're having a sound issue. I will go ahead and tell you that when we last left Nongle and Bjorn, Nongle had found his Ring of Mind shielding, the very same ring that you have managed to capture an illithid captain working for the Henenu Trade Organization. You have been keeping this ring at arm's length because you knew that engaging a very psionic, powerful creature might be problematic, to say the least, until now, where you needed some information. Where Nongle managed to resist its powers of control and psionics, Bjorn decided to take a hold of Nongle, thereby connecting himself with the ring, and he fell for the power of the illithid within the Ring of Mind shielding, and that is where we meet our friends. Nongle, is your sound issues better?
Can you hear me now?
Yep, definitely.
All right, perfect. Can you hear me now? A common phrase in online Dungeons and Dragons.
Very, very common. You are. Let me just say this. You are within the wagon. This weird artificially intelligence enriched wagon that your uncle Snicksnack has built. You're sitting, like you're standing in the middle of the living room, of the living space, where Bjorn is like squatting down halfway to kind of hold your hands. On the divan next to you, Theus is lying, still bandaged up, still his eyes kind of flickering underneath his eyelids. And with your physical eyes, you see Bjorn's eyes turning black as this Illithid's influence takes him over. And with your inner eye, you see in just a black space completely. You see the Illithid pirate captain just sitting in his chair, looking at you.
What's the meaning of this?
Well, you want to talk. Well, so do I. I believe we can be of assistance to each other. Do you not think so? And then you feel like Bjorn's grasp kind of tightening a little bit.
What's your offer?
Well, I need to get back to work, to be completely honest. I need a body, a humanoid, someone who will wear the ring, carry my mind. Well, I've seen all of you. I do not think you will all let me go as I am. So, find me another, and I shall be out of your hair, so to speak.
Nonko looks over at Theus's, body. No, that won't do. What do I get in return for this?
You just feel Bjorn's grasp just tightening a little bit more. Like, you don't think you've never been on the wrong side of Bjorn, so you've never tried. Like, he's always been gentle towards you. Noggle, you realize the truly terrifying strength that lies within the hands of that Norseman, holding your wrists like they were a couple of twigs right now.
Well, it seems like I have the upper hand, don't I?
Well, what makes you think something like that?
Because you're trapped inside this tiny little ring, and no matter what you do, you'll still be trapped inside this tiny little ring.
Well, while that might be true, we find ourselves at an impasse, would you not say so?
Well, not at all. So you'll crush me with my friend's own hands. And what do you think my other friends will do about it? And who else could manipulate this ring such as myself? You're going to kill the only one that is capable of helping you.
Go ahead and give me an intimidation roll.
Sure. I will use my knowledge of the ages to gain proficiency in that.
That's fine.
Alright, so this will be at a +4. So that'll be an 18.
All right, 18. You see him looking at you. Well, I do not see your friends right now. Do you?
Well, you won't see much else of anything if you rid yourself of me. Will you? Just darkness again?
I have been looking at you. This one is extremely difficult to slay. Will you not say so? It is almost like prime, buddy. I could, of course, just take him. Make him vessel of my fury. Bjorn, can you please make me another intelligence saving throw, as I will say another round has gone on.
Yeah, I could try. If my foundry is...
Do you need me to make the roll for you right now?
Maybe it's better if you do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just do it. All right, I'm rolling Bjorn's intelligence save here, and it's going to be that is not good enough. Sadly, Bjorn rolls an 18, which is too lower than this effect need. Well, he looks at you. Bjorn, what is you like? How is Bjorn reacting? Like, you are just behind the, like, you can watch out the windows, but you don't have, like, you can't touch the wheel. You're not in control. It is super weird.
I think Björn is trying to tap into his primal rage, just out of frustration, and even though he is proud of being considered a prime example of a body, he's very angry.
Oh, he does not like me having you in this situation at all, little one.
And what do you think that would have if we put your soul into another body? Do you think he would let you live in that body? I don't think so.
What do you want from me, Nuncle?
Well, I want to negotiate peacefully, so release my friend, and then we'll talk.
Give me a persuasion roll.
I suck ever charisma check. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll use my knowledge of the ages again, and I'll get proficiency in persuasion. Come on, high roll.
Use that? That's pretty cool.
18 again. Yeah, I could use it twice. Yeah, I could channel Arcana twice. So.
All right. Well, he this illithid looks at you. His dark eyes just looking into your head. In the meantime, Oust, what are you doing?
Good question. Where am I currently? Am I still in the tavern with R?
Well, I would say if you're still hanging out and drinking some wine, you could be sitting there having a drink. If or you would probably be within the what is it called? The detective agency.
Okay.
No,
So
we had left for the bar, didn't we?
Oh yeah, you had left for the bar. That's correct. So you are still in the restaurant. You're eating some of the nice vegan quiche, getting some wine right now.
Okay. How far away roughly is the bar from where the levitator is parked?
Maybe like 1 minute full sprint.
Okay.
You don't know what's going on.
No, I don't know what's going on, and on the basis of not knowing what's going on, I'd imagine I'd probably continue having the lovely vegan quiche. I'm assuming it's lovely. I've never had a vegan quiche, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, we didn't really set up any kind of a signal to say if anything was wrong back at the levitator.
No, but you did. So right now you're just talking to R, I guess.
Yeah. So gosh, this is what happens when it's like 2 weeks ago. So we have a couple of plans for tomorrow. Was it the sewers and then somewhere else? I cannot remember anything from last session. I'm sorry. It was the sewers and it was somewhere else. It was. What was the? It was. We were going to investigate the area of the city where all of the noble children kept on getting napped, if I remember rightly.
If you're talking to R, he can speak up. I'm not
Yes.
sure if you're talking. Okay.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
No, the places we were going to look were the docks where a lot of the shipping comes in, and the I suggested also a certain dwarf I know. He's a guard in the area where a lot of disappearances have been going on, or at least near that area.
The lawless place.
Yes. There are also the sewers. I know a man, if you can call him that knows the sewers like the back of his hand. Dug out a fair amount of them, or at least his family did.
Interesting.
Thump.
His family. So that. Right. This is going to look quite strange. I'll explain it later. Nothing to worry about. Alice has kind of got to the point. He's just going to pull the scroll case out, unscrew the top, and just unravel the parchment within.
As you read the letters of your own hand, it's almost like you can hear the voice. It says, "I smell it. I hunger. The one from the deeps, the mind drinker. Give him to me. He is threatening your friend. We cannot have him get away with that, can we? Nongle is in danger."
Well, there we go. Mr. Sophis. That still sounds strange to me. But it would appear just had a message, I guess. Again, I'll explain later. We should get back to our transportation. Apparently, one of our compatriots, or mine compatriots, is in a little spot of bother. So I believe we've already paid for the food and drinks. So we should exfiltrate, shall we?
All right.
Yes.
Lead the way.
And I will just stand straight up and dart right out the door and towards thingy. Once I'm in 120 feet, I'm going to try and use the message cantrip to Nongle and just go, Mr. Nongle, everything copacetic where you are?
I'll let you know when Nongle hears it.
Cool.
All right. I will not continue the charade, he says to you, Nongle, as you're still being kept in this iron grasp. I will assist you, but how can I count on you holding your end deal?
But you see, you don't have a choice. We've beaten you once. We could beat you again. I hold the power of this ring, so I suggest that you start getting along with me. And then, well, we could become friends. And if we become friends, then, well, I could find you a body, and then you can get back to whatever evil it was you were doing in the first place.
Go ahead, I'm going to give me a wisdom save. As he's trying to read your mind, read your thoughts.
I rolled 2 2s. Fuck.
Oh.
That's an 8.
What is Noggle's surface thoughts right now?
Honestly, this is kind of interesting to Nongle, because he always feels like he's got the upper hand on the more stranger things in life, because that's kind of his job, right? With the conventicle. So this is kind of, he's in unfamiliar but educated territory. So this is almost like a academic kind of happiness to him right now. He doesn't fear right now. He's not worried about it.
Let me figure out what this guy thinks here, right? Because he sees logic that if he just does whatever, if he just fights, there's a good chance that you guys will just straight up kill him.
Indefinitely.
I do not believe you, he says. And then you can, your left wrist, you feel how the bones underneath it just shatter as Bjorn breaks your left arm. I'm not going to make a strength 20 guy roll for breaking a gnome arm. I hope you find that funny.
I think that's perfectly fair.
You take... I'm going to go 1d10 plus Bjorn's strength. So you're going to take six damage and the status effects of having a broken wrist right now, right?
Okay.
As you feel the sharp pain of your bone splintering just reverberate through your body and mind.
Okay. Nong will just be like, well, appears you've broken me. Continue.
Bjorn, give me another intelligence saving throw. Do you still need me to roll it?
Oh, if it's... yeah, I still need you.
And
Seems like it's
19.
too much to handle both from the end.
That's right. And 19, you have been rolling almost enough twice now. Shit. Bjorn is just screaming in anger inside of his own mind. Is that it?
Indeed.
In the meantime, something else is going on. Not in this place. Will you, Theus, tell us what is happening to you right now?
Oh, okay. So,
Oh, that's right. Theus was
as
unconscious.
I'm drifting into the darkness, I see a vision of a very beautiful, smiling woman. And I say to myself in the darkness of my dreams, even if you have forgiven me, how am I ever supposed to forgive myself if I can't forget you? And I remember back when I first met her. She was weird, very weird, kept pranking me. I ended up probably going through more towels because I ended up like thoroughly wet from some of her pranks, or just had to take extra baths because she like poured something on me. But yeah, it was strange the first time I experienced something like this. And their continuously annoyance managed to break at some point through me. Not anymore as emotionless as I was raised in the order. For the first time, I experienced things like joy, laughter. I think I was happy at that point. This all changed when our journey continued. The end of our mission arrived. We broke through the ruins and managed to get what they told us to get. In that moment, the revelation that she was an outsider. And the decision I made, as I could not wring myself away from the chains that were put out upon me. How we both ended up on the verge of death. And after all, she still forgave me and saved me. The guilt, something I can never forget. And even in this dream, I cannot remove this pain and the vision of how she died because of me In that moment, I jump awake. What do I see?
As you wrest your mind away from those ancient catacombs and the twisting kind of hallways and shafts that you remember, it's almost like you hear a whisper in the last moment as you jump awake, which is fine. A shout for help. Find me, but how? Was that you, or you're not sure? You see Bjorn. You're inside a weird room. It is a big, like maybe 30 by 30 feet square room. You're on a divan. The taste in here is horrible. Like, too many colors, so much like gold everywhere. And then you see Bjorn is just standing in the middle of the room, kind of huddled over, holding something, maybe cradling it in his arms. And you see between his legs, you see like blood kind of dripping down. And then we will jump to Oust.
Hello.
Actually, also, did I have a long rest?
Yes, you did.
A very long rest.
Very long rest, yeah.
Do you want to answer to the message as this happens around the same time as what just happened, Nongo?
Sorry.
Yeah, so you sent a message to Nongle. What was your message?
It was just asking if everything was okay. Heard you may have been in trouble, essentially.
Having some problems speaking with the illithid we captured. Roar broke my arm. Help!
Right, jolly good. On the way. Be there momentarily.
Now! Help!
All right.
Do you do anything to hasten up?
Yes. Mr. R, again, apologise. There's going to be a lot of questions and not many answers, and I'm going to dimension door from where I am as close as I can to the levitator. With R.
Give me a history check to figure out if you can, like, remember where you were. Oh, actually, not a history. That doesn't make sense. Just give me a straight intelligence to see if you end up inside a wall or something.
Intelligence check will be, I think, just do that, right?
I mean,
does that work?
you know, we took the vehicle to get here. We know where we parked it. I feel like.
Oh, yeah. Well, now you.
Hang on.
Sorry,
I'm having.
We'll just look for that crit fail. See if you end up in the
Fair.
inside the ship.
There we go. Sorry, I was clicking everywhere but where I should have been clicking. So do the intelligence check. Has it come through yet?
No.
Try that again.
Yeah, public roll on. There it is.
Yeah. Does it come through now?
Well, it's not the second roll you made. It is the first roll you made.
Rolled
The
an
first
8
roll you
on
made
his first roll, a 4 on the second, and then 18 on the third.
Oh, good. Well, yeah.
An
I mean, an 8 then.
An 8 is not a 1. You dimension door. Seconds after you hear Nongle. I guess you take Cephis with you.
Assuming he is willing. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, back to you, Nongle.
Put that in the chat as well, just so it's cast.
And I think the illithid now figures out what is going on.
Yes, you see, my friends are coming, and well, they'll of course end this enchantment, and well, you have moments now to decide if you want to release my friend, answer some questions for me, or, well, you're gone from this world. Tick-tock.
You see the light return to Bjorn's eyes. As Bjorn, you are released. And this illithid kind of like changes his legs a bit. Looks at you. As long as you don't feed me to the soul drinker, we have an accord.
No, I told you to release my friend and we start negotiating. We have no accord, my friend. Now, I'm going to let you sit on that for a while. I'll contact you about this time tomorrow and we can have another negotiation. Mind your manners next time.
Do you do anything? Do you take off the ring? What do you do?
Yeah, I'll just take out the ring.
All right.
Well, I'll give him a chance to respond and then I'll take the ring off.
So a lot of things happened at one moment here. As Nongul, you take off the ring. Bjorn, you return to yourself. In the rage that you described, Theus, you jolt awake to see Bjorn kind of let go forcefully of Nongul. And then Oust arrives just in a cloud of green dust, just boom, with a tabaxi Theus you've never seen before. This guy is what does this new guy look like?
So to describe him, he's shorter than Bjorn, but not by much, and he's kind of a black-furred panther-like tabaxi. He's got a long semi-formal coat with clean trousers and a clean button-down shirt underneath it and a tie, and a small vest. His muzzle is kind of like this plain white with his whiskers kind of coming at a straight angle, and he's got this large kind of not super large but wide-brimmed hat on his head. He has a short sword on his side and and that's all you can see for weapons.
As he appears, I'm just like, do I see Fierce is awake? Firstly,
all of this happens simultaneously.
Also, don't forget Nurgle's two cousins or whatever are here.
True. Also,
they're
don't forget
outside right now because otherwise this would not have made sense, right?
True.
Yeah, 6 and Garwop are outside.
Also, don't forget we drew all over Fierce's face. So
yeah,
just
Theus, you have Dixon.
I don't see that.
No, you don't
see that.
No, you don't.
As I jump in, I'm just, if I see him awake, I'm just gonna point to Arsaface and go, "Look what you did, Hajar!" and and then I go, Dongle, care to explain?
Nongul has the ring in front of him as he grabs his wrist with his other hand. Just stares up at Bjorn. Bjorn, are you all right?
Bjorn stands up and furiously smashes something close to him. Could be like the wall or a plant he throws out the window or something. He destroys something.
You hear the wagon say in its artificial voice, "Please do not destroy me. I am not capable of regenerating like you biological life form." As just splinters and furniture goes everywhere.
Well, I tried to contact the soul of the Illithid because it was heading to Staunch Flow as well, or maybe it's come here before, and unfortunately it took possession of our friend Bjorn here. And its way of negotiation was, well, not pleasant, but I think I have it a bit on the run. Caused me a broken arm. Is this something I can patch up with curative magic?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll toss a healing word on myself. Cure a broken wrist.
Well, may I suggest that next time I am present...
Perfectly cured.
Conduct the negotiation. Do we think we can get more out of this creature, or do we think that our are very much burnt?
Well, I'm not... Is there some sort of place that sells magical scrolls, besides, of course, anything connected directly to the pillar itself, inside Staunch Flow?
Depends on how illegal you're willing to go.
Well,
very.
Quite illegal, actually. We're on the run from the pillar. Hello!
Theus!
Ah.
Are you standing up, Theus, or are you still in the like just jolt on the divan?
I'm in a sitting position. I'm trying to process the current situation.
All right. So you have not made yourself like. All right, cool. Just wanted to know for everybody else's sake. Cool. Bjorn is just freaking out. You were saying, Nongo.
I'll look at this new Cephis and I'll be like, as I was just about to spill out that we're in trouble from the pillar and everything. Perhaps we should have this conversation outside of ears of new travelers or whatnot.
Well, I'm sure Mr. Cephis wouldn't have recommended this gentleman had he not had his full confidence. Also, I may have done a little bit of magic that was a little bit maledictus across the city just to get here, so I'm fairly sure he's at least fairly abreast of the situation. I don't exactly look...
Yeah. And as you
like
say that,
Mentacle.
Arsefis kind of dusts his shoulders off of the green dust that's on him.
Sorry about that, it gets everywhere.
Well, it's good then. So yes, if whoever's most in touch with anyone in the underground here, perhaps there's some way we could actually secure this creature from gaining control of any of us again. But Bjorn, if you stop thrashing around, I think Theus has risen.
Bjorn takes the last potted plant and throws it out the window.
That was my one.
Looks to Nongo and say, I'm sorry, brother. Hey, could you fix the wrist again? Is that possible? I don't know what happened. I do. Oh my God.
It's already done. It's good as new. It was not you, of course. I'm quite proficient with these types of possessions or whatnot. So it was nothing of your fault, I assure you.
I hope you can forgive me. I could never. It was never my intention to hurt you like that.
No reason to forgive you. There's nothing to forgive.
Okay.
And Nongle seems a little bit more persuasive for some reason.
Not my proudest moment, I guess.
Well, be proud your friend is awake. And here, take this. And I'll hand Bjorn like the Sharpie that we drew all over Theus' face with. Now go, quick, see him!
I walk towards Theus. Are you awake, buddy? Up?
Nongle?
Wait, sorry. How many days has it been? How long was I out?
It's been 8 years!
Almost. No, it's a few days. Theus.
How many?
3 days. I'm not that good at numbers. I think it's 3.
To think the Illithid wanted his brain.
This is important, Sai. The deal. I need to know how many days.
Well, you said 10 at 3 days, so we still have 8 days left.
You have until the end of the 29.
That's 7 days.
What happened is... Oh, 7, yeah.
7. Alright. Have we already saved Safi's cousins? Wait, I look around, like, who do I see? Like, I see Noggle, I see Oz, I see Bjorn.
Presumably, if you see Ost, you also see Arsefis, who is standing next to him.
This is not our cat.
I don't believe it's anybody's cat, but
Bit of a racist comment, but I'll let it slide. You seem fresh out of a coma.
Where's Safis?
No, you don't understand. This is Safis.
What?
Once again, you seem fresh out of a coma. I'll briefly explain since your friends seem to be giving you the runaround. My name is Orsa Fist. I was... Or the one he wrote that letter to. A local here. I'm a detective of sorts in the city of Staunchville. By the way, that's where you are if you didn't know.
Yes, welcome. No cults want to kill you in this city, do they, Mr. Fierce? Or was it just Hashar? Hashar. No, that's your
Cephas kind of just scratches the side of his
I
neck
mean,
and looks away. Yeah. There are cults around. There are always cults around.
True.
Unless if you mean you specifically,
what
then
happened?
I guess no.
Wait, what happened
like
with
a
Alpha
shit-
System?
He went back with his sister, Rain and Summer, to take care of the slavers back in Fida Hajar. And
So they're
we
fine.
promised him.
We managed to save them. Good.
Yes. Without bloodshed,
Yeah.
mostly, considering your efforts. So there we
The
go.
deal you made, they made good on their end.
But you
I
did
promise
make a
you.
deal.
I promise you, we gotta fight them, right? John seems a bit
Face them.
confused.
Face them. Some way.
Nongle, could I take a quick look at that ring? I'll be perfectly safe with it.
I'd prefer not.
Oh, come on.
We just had some very dangerous things happen because of it.
I'm not going to put it on. I'm not that daft. I just want to take a look at it.
Unfortunately, just touching it is enough to actually release the spirit itself. I was thinking of giving it to Nibbles, and there would be, there would be no. I don't think the Illithid would be willing to actually take into that body itself.
Don't think he'd be that willing to come into mine either. So, and also it seems like, providing I'm not being held by a, albeit prime specimen of a human body, I should be, or at least my wrist should be quite safe. Just for a second.
Nongle considers. Very well. Nongle will snap his fingers and summon Nibbles to him. And Nibbles, go bring us the ring. Nibbles walks into the wall. No, the ring is right here! And he'll pick up the ring and then he'll cluck over to you.
Thank you very much. Oust will kind of crumple up another one of the pieces of parchment paper and just drop it on the floor. Awfully sorry. And I will misty step out of the levitator onto the street with the ring.
Well, that's not what I had planned. Nibbles chases you because that's his ring now.
Sure, if Nibbles comes near me, I know I'll Eldritch Blast him.
Nibbles,
but-
stop! Nibbles doesn't have opposable thumbs and therefore can't, open doors. Outside,
Bonk, bonk.
outside, I was just see Gawop and Snicksnack, like in the middle of some kind of board game, and Gawop looks.
Spear.
All right. So both of you give me a roll of, let's say, initiative. That's fine, right?
So I just do a straight dex roll and.
Yeah, just a straight dex roll each, and that'll decide basically.
Okay, I'm at a 16.
My rolls are coming through very slowly, but I don't want to double click it all the time. Eight.
You get an 8, yeah. All right, Nongo, you open the door, and you see like Gawop kind of like as you ask, or as you look at them quizzically, he points down the alley, and then you come down the alley. You see Oust standing with the verdant shot in the front, like in the form of a spear in front of him.
All right, I'll stay back a bit, but I want to just make sure I'm there, and I'll ready my component pouch, not knowing what spell to cast, and I'll, as Nibbles like chases after the ring, I'll quickly dispel him.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, if I have received no interaction with the soul within the ring, then I will look back, see Nongle, again, kind of just half shrug, and I will just one hand ram the point of the spear into the center of the ring.
The ring breaks. You see purplish blue light like shining out of it, and then you hear a psychic scream in both of your heads, just like, and it implodes the energy into the shard that just lights up, and you get the feeling of satisfaction, just the best meal of your life. You can go ahead and edit the Verdant Shard to be a +2 weapon now.
As I said, awfully sorry about that, but some evils need to be left, or rather, not left, undealt with.
That was a very expensive ring you just broke. I could have just pulled from there at any time. You didn't need to destroy it. Did Nongle see the Verdant Shard gain power?
Give me an Arcana roll. This is like if you roll really badly, you will not have noticed anything. Let me see that now.
17. If it's about historical items, I have advantage. So that'd be a 31.
No, it's not a historical. I will say a 17 is fine. Basically, you see the shard absorb the energy that was held within. Like that was pretty obvious for everybody watching.
All right, I'll approach Ost. Well, it seems like the properties of your weapon have changed by destroying my item.
I owe you a very nice ring. I apologize, but well, you've seen me do this before. You saw the thing in the cave. Put it this way: it was a polite request in our favor, shall we say?
Very well.
Albeit incessant.
Yeah, yes. Nalo doesn't look impressed that you destroy his ring. Also, but it's more than that. It's more like he had a entity that he could gain so much knowledge from that now he doesn't have access to that anymore. So he seems a little disappointed. But he just approaches you and says, "I just want to make sure that your weapon's still disguised. That's all. And if you allow me, I'll cast Magic Aura on your Verdant Shard."
I will unsummon the blade. I have a feeling, Mr. Nongle, that I'm not sure it's entirely. No, you know what? I know what you're doing. No, I trust you. I will resummon the blade and hand it over to him. Do your worst.
All right, no.
No, I did.
As you're touching the blade, it's almost like it's purring in your hands, Nongle.
It's like a little kitty. Hello, Syphis number 3.
What are you two doing out in that alley? Your Uncle Snicksnack is shouting at you.
Don't you see all the potted plants that have been thrown out the window? Go clean them up!
Oh, that was potted plants? Oh no, not my ferns! And he starts to go and pick up the potted plants. In the meantime, what is happening inside with Theus, and Bjorn?
Well, for Zyphis' part, he'll again kind of dust off the green dust Ost left behind, and he'll go over to Theus, has Theus stood up yet, or is he still kind of like half laying down, half sitting up on the bed where he was? Alright, well, Cephis will go over to him and says, well, now that your friends seem to have vanished for whatever reason, let me formally introduce myself. My name is Cephis. I'm a resident here of Staunch Flow. I gather your name is Theus from what I have briefly heard from your companions. I don't know anything about this. He kind of just generically waves at Bjorn and the people who just left rather. But to inform you, I'm helping you find these kidnapped people, and that trying to help you find this occult goings on here. We have some leads if you think you're in a state of mind to listen to them.
Well,
if not,
first of all, not on the off chance to sound racist, but are you and these related just because
I've
you
already had that
both have the
conversation with
same
your.
name?
Sorry, can you say that again? You lagged a little.
Yes, Dion, you roboted out for the last part of what you said.
All right. Well, I heard the first parts, but well, your small friend and I already had that conversation, and you could say we're related, but that's besides the point, really. People are allowed to have the same names after all. So, with that out of the way, do you think you're of a sound mind to get to work, or do you need more time to rest?
Okay, hello. It is cut off.
No,
Oh, it's
you
fine.
sound good now.
Okay, good. Just I told you, like, that's
He said and disconnected. Wow, alright.
Hey, am I being cut off? No, you sound good. Okay, disconnects. That's legendary. Well,
So,
your-
Mr. Surface,
yeah, Bjorn,
I
your
think
friend seems to
my,
have passed
my-
out again.
yeah, I think why I'm still holding this pen, I have no idea. I think that we give him some time and maybe find him some water. Could you tell me?
Oh, it looks like you woke up again.
I'm not sure. Are you okay, Theus?
I'm fine. On the off chance that I hopefully don't sound racist, but are you related to Safis? Because you both have the same family name.
Well, you could certainly say that, but people are allowed to have the same name and all.
Okay, good. I will still treat you like a different cat, just in case.
Considering I am a different tabaxi, I would appreciate that, yes.
Speaking of, I'm not there. Don't worry.
Now,
Oh,
That's-
how are you doing?
oh my, you seem to see so delusional. Your friend Ost left a moment ago. That's what all this green dust is. That aside, though, so to catch you up, Theus, a case I have been investigating here in the city is relating to the disappearance of several young girls around the age of 11, more or less. It seems to be connected to your case of slavers bringing in slaves for whatever this cult activity is, and we have a few leads. The first three or so that popped into my mind as your friends explained to me the situation were to investigate the sewers. Lots of cults tend to hide under there. I know somebody who could guide us around and point to us in any new and interesting directions. There are the docks.
Remember, Cephis, a case where you had Meepo guide you into the sewers.
That's what I'm referencing, yeah.
You remember like a few platforms and a kind of makeshift library they had gathered? You remember a bunch of kind of real weird knowledge in books that you don't know what happened to after you were done with the case.
Noted. But, alright. So then the other locations would be the docks, naturally. I know a noble who owns a substantial amount of land there and a warehouse who could definitely cue us into the goings-on. Any notable major shipments from the Hajari Emirates. There's also a particular guardsman I know on the east side by... Right, you don't know. The east side of the city, there's this lawless region. Long story short, a lot of people go disappearing there, and this guard knows the goings-on of the area. He's a good man, and he'll likely help us if we explain our case. While your friends are out faffing around with a ring, do you have any particular of these three paths you think is the best to follow first? I'm personally leaning towards the sewers. That's up to you and your group.
Okay. Can I get everyone here? Just
And at that point, I guess if you're not do you guys want to talk to each other, Nongle and Aus, before you enter, or
Is the ring even like? Is it gone, or is it just?
yeah, there's a few kind of pieces of metal on the ground, but it's not magical anymore.
I'll pick it all up.
Thoroughly broken.
Well, we should head back to the caravan. Theus is awakened.
You enter back into the caravan. Everybody is now together.
Welcome back, you two. Hope you had a good time.
Ooh, I've been muted.
Sending you a message.
Never mind. I was. I just replied fantastic to what everyone was said before. Yes. No. Yeah. Jolly good time.
I've just been catching your friend Theus up here on our goings-on, and we were just discussing where we plan on heading first to further investigate.
Good. Glad you covered that. So we're calling him Fierce. Are we all in agreement, just for the time being?
Cephas kind of tilts his head. Does he have another name?
Oh, yes. No, you see, yes. No, he appears. And Fierce, perhaps, maybe you'd like to fill us in. Fierce here, turns out, isn't necessarily his name. In fact, maybe his name, depending on the day, depending of the day of the week, Antares is his name. Just so happens that maybe this Antares fellow, or Fierce, is associated with some people who have been rather antagonistic to us recently. Care to elaborate?
Can I insight check Ost?
Do you know the rules? Of course you can.
Yeah. All right, Ost. I'm gonna insight check you because that seemed almost a little hostile. 23.
23. It absolutely was hostile. he's told us that he's the heir of the cult of assassins that have been trying to kill me on a regular basis for the last week. So
Nongle will look to Ost as you say that. Ost, we're friends here. Just remember that.
yes, we are friends here, aren't we? We're all good chums. Yes. So, in the spirit of trust, and I appreciate that has a mildly perverse meaning considering what I just did. In the spirit of trust, I'd really, really like to know what's going on. Because, as far as I'm concerned, we have a week before you have to give yourself up to this group, and apparently, they're not going to hurt us in that time, but then they're supposedly not going to come after us after that, which I find very hard to believe in my position.
They're not gonna go after us because we're gonna destroy them out.
Well, I mean, I'm fine with that.
Yes.
Well, I agree with Ost. I agree with Bjorn. But Theus, explain yourself.
Well, first of all, Ost, I want you to know that the deal I made was to try to save you all. Might not sound like it, but I'm not your enemy here.
Is Antares our enemy?
Let me update at least our new companion here. And I will at least tell Hajar what I already told the others. That what they already know. So I don't have to repeat myself there.
Very well.
So Evans, you already know because I already told this. So I will reiterate it again just for Arsafis.
Sure.
Alright. Well,
I just need to make sure, Theus, what is it you're reiterating on? Just so I'm I'm not sure.
I just tell others what I told the others about how I grew up and how I was like taken into.
Like the orphanage, the training, and all that.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a story, kid. Jesus.
I think you might have noticed that a bard is not something that's part of an assassination code. Not necessarily. My current capabilities are very much not suited for an assassination code. That's because the one who was raised an assassin, the one that they have been looking for, was Antares. I was, at some point, Antares. Raised to become a vessel for Hassani Sabah. You might know that he's a pretty powerful archwizard, archmage, and has been living for a very long time, much more than is possible for a mortal body. And such power cannot easily be contained in just any body. So he made a special kind of spell that allowed him to transfer his power to a suitable vessel. Of course, such a suitable vessel had to be constructed and raised for him. Well, that was Antares.
Everybody, just before you continue with this, go ahead and give me a... no, this is common knowledge. Hassani Sabah is a very well-known historical figure. Hassani Sabah is like the guru that kind of came up with what is called the Hassanite Creed. So when you have the Conventicle of Aachen, there's generally 3 ways of going about not worshipping gods. One of them is just basically following the normal tenets, with his other planar beings are bad, gods are aliens trying to lure our souls into their hands, that kind of thing. So the Hassanite Creed that was created by this archmage Hassani Sabah after the city of Rath Hajar was invaded by demons is that we should actively wage war against the otherworldly beings. So we should find the enemy without, and we should destroy it at all costs. So they're like the kind of radical, orthodox kind of sect within the whole conventicle. You know, Nongo, a bunch of people, especially within the Inquisition and the Shield, who follows this sect of the Hassanite Creed. These people are, some of them are just, a bit more conservative, a bit more, anything other planar is just dangerous, right? Some of them are truly fanatic and want to kill every single other planar beings. They will torch villages of Fae, anything that they come across. So that there is a kind of a Hassanite League of Assassins, basically. It has some pretty big kind of ramifications. Go ahead, Theus.
Whilst we're waiting for him, just related to what you just said, what's the Hassanite Creed? How does the Hassanite Creed interact with like Chthoniya in terms of if they're torching Fae villages and things like that?
Chthoniya is pretty moderate in general, but it's also because Chthoniya, when you have a society without any gods and without any religion, Chthoniya has become hyper centralized, and all of the faith that would normally go towards a deity is going towards the emperor, right?
Okay.
But they're actually quite moderate. Basically, or I think the way Ost would look at this is that Chthonians are like followers of the conventicle, but only because then no one asks questions about what they're doing, right? So they're doing it to further their own interests.
Okay. that they don't have any particular strong feelings against the Hassanite Creed for
Some
their
people
actions
do.
against
Like
it.
it's an individual thing. It's like being a Protestant, a Catholic, or like an Orthodox Christian, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Or an Anglican, maybe. Yeah. So it's more like it's all following the tenets of Arkan, that we should defend ourselves against otherworldly influences.
Yeah.
But it's different. It's the other end of that is what is called the Ivorite Creed. The Ivorite Creed, which is basically that we can learn from the other planes, but we should still, take care that gods don't decide what we should do all the time. All right. Theus, you still with us? Liam?
Yeah, so...
All right, good. Yeah.
Anyways, the ceremony of getting a new vessel is not always 100% successful. Sometimes the vessel is destroyed, and sometimes it just doesn't. The compatibility is bad. So the cult has been searching for something else, something better. And they have been looking for an artifact with power to restore time in some ways. And I will show him like that thing that I'm usually hiding under my long sleeves on my left wrist. This is the past temporis. Something that we found in ruined lands. The Hassanite Creed sent out me and others on a mission to get this here. And among them was an adventurer named Pandora. On the journey, she taught me how to live. I do not be a puppet anymore. And we were the only one who survived until the end. We got this year. Mongol, I think I've told you that Pandora is something very dear to me.
Yes.
One thing is that I have killed her. I'm responsible for her death.
Noggle just place his hand on your shoulder and just like trying to be sincere. He's lacking.
I cannot forgive myself for that. In the moment of weakness, I thought that she was, well, a race of this plane. Through some of the traps that were activated in the ruins there. She viewed herself as a fae, and at that point I had to ring with myself, with my beliefs, how I was raised, and the situation of that I faced myself. I had a choice, and I made the wrong one. The woman I loved, or the things I believed in. And I chose my beliefs, chased her down, and well, pretty dangerous temple there. I was on the verge of death, as well as she was. In that moment, she still forgave me and gave her life so I could live. And so these powers here, and I snap my fingers and I play a little bit of few of my cantrips around. This is not mine. This is hers. And Antares, the monster that you saw there, the Reaper, that was me.
How do we get him out? How
Not
do
about
we
getting out. It's not like he's a different person. He was somebody I used to be.
Bjorn, you saw this warrior that Theus all of a sudden turned into.
Yeah.
You're not sure you could even stand up to him. That was truly awe-inspiring fighting.
Sure. But you are him, but you are also her. I'm sorry, Theus. You know, this is difficult for me to understand.
I carry on her life, and I still carry the sins of who I once was. Even though I shed that name, I took on a new one. It's not something I can easily leave behind, as you can see. As this is on the search for me, for the past temporis, for this body here. Imagine an powerful archmage with the capabilities of that body. That's what Hassani Sabah is after.
So you have more than one soul inside of you?
I don't think so. Actually, from what I and Pandora found out about the past temporis is that after giving her life for me there, her soul is somewhere else. And at least I want to find that. And I want to apologize. And I want to give her peace, and I want to give myself peace.
You think by hindering this like ritual, we could somehow lock it away or set you truly free? Your soul.
I don't think that is really a problem for me currently. The problem is that I don't want to give this year, and I pointed to the past temporis, and this year, that year, and I point at my body to these guys. They're evil, they are despicable, I only realized how horrible they were when I made all these mistakes. And how often did you wish in your life that you could get a second chance? And look at me now, I was given one. So I'm trying to do my best with that.
I think this second chance should be used to make sure that nobody else is gonna have it like you have, Theus. Could it be possible to hunt these guys down in any way and make sure
I
that
think we're currently capable enough for that. I've seen them. I've seen how powerful they are. And you've seen how powerful, well, Antares is.
you used him like a tool? I know the price was 3 days.
It was something I would rather forget. I would rather like to forget. Something I sealed away something. It's a very hateful part of who I was. And I deemed it necessary in that moment, as I feared that every one of you would die if I didn't call upon what I once was. That one guy
Seems
that
like-
appeared there, with the face. I think he had the capability to kill all of you. And you-
Seems like hate is a powerful motivator. Maybe we could use it just this once.
I don't think this is really hate. It's a past that chases me and one I have to deal with. Of course, they are. Well, fuck those guys. But I would rather flee. If I could choose, I would rather that we do not engage into conflict with those guys.
Well, what about the 7 days?
But it's something I have to deal with.
No, it's something we have to deal with. We're roped in all together, aren't we? Or at least I hope so.
I wondered if it would be possible if I deliver myself to them, if they would leave you alone.
That's not out of the question.
I'd very much doubt it anyway. They have no motive to stop hunting me.
Yeah, we could give the motive.
We have 7 days to get powerful ally on our side or something.
Is there some way we can get to the reach?
Well, this is an awful interesting story. And you see a gnome, Tias, the size of, like, he's like stupid short. He's like 2.5 feet tall, right? Walking up, in his hands, he has a bowl of like soup, goulash maybe, as he places it in front of you. Now, I reckon you've been asleep for maybe, what, three days, if what your friends here telling me is true?
Theus, this is my second cousin, Stinkstack.
I am your uncle, Noggle. Don't disrespect me like that.
Well, honestly, it's the same thing in our culture, isn't it?
Pish posh.
Wait, is your family tree a family circle?
A deal,
Like
no
he
man
looks-
at all.
He looks at you. You must have hit your head real hard when you went into that coma, didn't you? Now, go ahead and eat something. You're probably tired from all that. And that story you have there, I'm telling you, and he looks at you, Nungle. I told you, boy, bad things are happening. There are interesting things happening in the horizon, and I don't like it. Now, you get your strength back, because we're gonna fight them bastards, and I'm not letting any friend of my nephew here get caught up by any kind of dark assassins or Hassanites that don't know anything about being proper, polite, and hospitable. All right.
Well,
He like puts down the soup, and it kind of like it spills a little bit.
That's great.
Now, would you like a beer or wine for that?
I think I just drink some water. I just drink some water. Fine.
By the way, Theus, you're in an upgraded version of the Gnomish Levitator. Much happened in the 8 years that you were asleep.
8 years? It's been 3 days. Don't be such a fool. What? Well, now, Theus, I don't know about you. And he looks at all of you guys. It seems like you have your work cut out for you. You said there was some kind of dark rituals going on this place?
Yes.
Yes.
And now you, detective man, and he looks at you, he says, do you happen to know anything about that?
Possibly.
Then I recommend that you all get some sleep instead of standing around here, and you get a fresh start in the morning. I am going to go to bed. And he puts some water down next to your soup, Theus, and he hands a beer to Bjorn, and then he goes into one of the rooms next to the living room and closes the door.
Noted. Well, your uncle seems to have it right on his head. But before that, I would like to at least decide where we're going in the morning, so we could head right out. Again, I've suggested these 3 places. Either we could try to find their location in the sewers, try to find some hint of them at the docks, or go maybe investigate the disappearances themselves over in the lawless regions of the city. Does anyone have any particular vote?
The dwarf seems like the strongest lead that we have. So that's my vote.
I agree with Ost.
Here, here.
And you? Yes?
I was out for so long, I think I'm just going with the group for now. If we can, first of all, as we still have this problem with the slavers here and rituals, if we can get something that can help us survive in 7 days, this would also be very helpful.
Oh, I imagine cultists tend to have a large collection of deep and forbidden knowledge, he says, like kind of dramatically waving his hands. So I imagine they'll have something on hand, so at least that could help. And there's always the good old-fashioned leaving the country.
Very good point. Also, we do need to get to the bottom of what this ritual is.
As well.
It's all very well and good investigating disappearances, but we need to know why they're disappearing, not necessarily how.
That is true. Knowing the age demographic and that they're going after a specific gender, I know somebody we could ask. She's a bit of an occultist and a historian. She might know something, or at least be able to put her on the right track.
Oh. Fellow academic. Yes, well, a 4th option then.
Nice.
3 people, 1 location. But I reckon the dwarf first.
You also know that what's it called? Usually talking to nowhere will get you at least some information.
True, but I'm keeping nowhere kind of in the back pocket for when we hit a we don't know what to do anymore situation.
That's
we
fine.
have some solid leads that aren't drug addicted humans.
That makes sense.
Right. Well, for the good it would do, I would suggest that anybody that can modify their appearance for tomorrow does so. If everybody's okay with that, at least to an extent. I appreciate, Bjorn, that very little you can do to not look like you. Giant 7-foot cold man, probably going to stick out. But, some of the rest of us could probably be a little bit more conspicuous. So, bear it in mind.
And with that, unless anyone wants to do something concrete, I guess you all go to sleep.
Certainly.
I just slept.
You're still pretty
wide awake.
You're still pretty beat up, Theus, I'll say. Like, it doesn't feel like you just slept. Let me say it like that, right?
All right.
You drive back the levitator to Thyme Street 221B. You guys go to sleep. You go in. You you go in and you head asleep. You as usual. You don't sleep that much, do you?
Not particularly, no.
So tell me, how does your conspiracy board look like? What did you...
Unbeknownst to the rest of the party, Arsaphis has... So the upstairs of his investigation service, Arana's investigation service, is 4 rooms. 2 of them are bedrooms, one for himself, one for Arana. And then the other 2 rooms are dedicated to Arana and himself separately. And both of them are basically like the private offices for like exactly like you said, our conspiracy boards basically. And you know, it being medieval times, there's not photos or anything to hang up, but he has notes, he has sketches, he has a bunch of different things from a bunch of different cases kind of lining various sections of the walls and floors. And he takes probably, an hour or 2 to gather his notes on these new strangers that have just bursted into town, raving madly about cults and murders and slavers and assassins and ghosts. It's a little not out of his depth per se, but it's pretty wild. He takes notes of these people. He takes notes of what he's seen. He connects some dots between like maybe the group and the slaver organizations that he's familiar with and what they're doing, and he takes time to just draw notes out and lays out in a little section the 4 people that he suggested looking into, at least briefly talking to, and then sighs and also puts nowhere up there because he always puts nowhere up there because nowhere always seems to know something.
Then, as you're looking around, at your kind of usual suspects and people that help you, like your eyes glance over the note, the drawing of the small girl with the corn blonde kind of hair, the girl that went missing just the other day.
Yeah,
it was this morning they came to you, the parents. You saw the worry in the eyes, the soaked cheeks, the weird kind of blood under the fingernails of the father. Probably a butcher, workman at least.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of feeling is like Phil's are as he's contemplating the big picture here?
Over the years, Arsafiz has kind of grown numb to a lot of the pain of his customers. He has to. He can't afford to be too empathetic in this kind of line of work. But this one, kind of hit a little bit of a sweet spot. He's always had a soft spot for, young kids and like, in particular, like people the age of his family. And well, he's worried, probably. He thought this was just at first a normal, a dime a dozen kidnappings. Somebody steals somebody off of some street, sells them into a market, and they're never seen again. But again, kind of taking a little red thread and connecting it to somewhere else on the board. This doesn't seem like that. There is something much bigger going on, and that worries him. Because if there's one thing if there's one thing that's dangerous in staunch flow, it's organized groups. And with like that last thought, he will go to bed.
You wake up. You don't know how many hours kind of went by, and you hear the door knocker just.
Yeah, well.
Bloody hell.
Yeah, well, Saphist will, go down there after dressing for the day and getting all his things together and taking his sweet time. Arana's probably, already up. She's probably letting whoever it is because she, being an elf, doesn't sleep, period.
After that, precisely. So what happens is, like, as you get up, like, how many hours was that? 2, 3 maybe? Oh,
Yeah.
Looking at the amount of butts in the ashtray, like, you probably, it wasn't just an hour you stayed up, just brooding over the clues. And she comes in, she throws the newspaper on the table next to you, and she says, "It was the paper boy."
Oh, bit of a knock for the paper boy. What did he have? And Cephas will do the dramatic flip out the paper to look at what he presumes will be a dramatic headline.
Precisely, and as you kind of flip up the paper, you see the headline: Inquisition barge lost at sea. Conventicle has no comment. Sources close to the Conventicle informs the Golden Report that this was Scarlet Inquisition activity, hunting an unknown renegade Magus Superior. Citizens are asked to be on the lookout for suspicious activity.
Fuck.
You kind of steel yourself as you look through the newspaper. Another article says that there was a construction floor found in the Eric Tower, one of the 7 tower in the circle around the center, the one down here. There was found a construction floor in that tower. It has been closed for renovation. The other towers and old kind of tall buildings in the city will be inspected for structural integrity. So citizens should expect delays, waiting times for services as stone workers do their business. It also says there was reports of violent gang fights and explosions heard from the Esterfold Commons last night, and citizens are asked to be vigilant and stay safe. Right. Then there's like a public service announcement on the Ducal pages. Like there's a couple of pages where the Duke kind of always have some space to do messages to the public. And as the Festival of Peace is coming up on the 28th, the day before the full moon on the 29th, everybody is invited to join the Duke on the Withgod and Arkan squares, which is up here. And then, as is tradition, the Duke will be pardoning some people and handing out food from the Liberation Bridge here. And the court of battle will be closed, and most of the city soldiers will be on leave. Is what you know. Then there's reports of a large iron vein stuck in the Tunterier mines. It's like a township of dwarves living down here. And apparently they struck a big vein of iron. And then there's reports of a large, like a pumpkin grown by Pharaoh Diggle in Gula that has a very funny and rude shape, and you can see it on page 7.
Yeah, well, Cephis will stressfully fold the paper up. He'll drink some of the tea or coffee, whatever Arana was feeling that day when she made it, and will, stand up, get ready to leave, and just God's above Arana. I hate being a good person, and he will leave to go find the party, and in dramatic fashion, slam the paper down in front of them, saying, "Did you do this?" whenever he gets the chance.
And now we'll take a break. So
right.
We'll be back 7:30. That is Central European time. So in half an hour from now. Thank all of you for watching, and we will see you in a few minutes. Bye.